about healing, prayer, and spirituality. Like most people, my spiritual journey began after a few traumatic experiences. I was searching for answers and trying to make meaning of life. So warm, warm welcome. Thank you, my sister. I founded Cosmic Heaven, dedicated to holistic healing after several years of self-healing, which continues. Connecting your mind, body, and soul is the foundation of our center. In order to share the tools I have developed through my journey, I have designed a variety of training programs. For example, we also created an online platform and programs to empower and support men, women and men in combating societal issues and personal traumas. This was in response to the increase in GBV. We have also initiated a mindfulness program for kids, which we have started with roughly 150 children. We offer meditation, soul coaching, and healing using different energy modalities. My healing journey and all the lessons I've learned are the true essence of cosmic heaven. And I continue to learn. Yes, my experience of Leola Rammble, a very humble, dedicated, committed individual, very special as well. So I warmly welcome Leola. Warm, warm welcome to the program Rise and Shine.
Good morning, Sister Shirley. Warmest greetings and thank you for asking me to be here. It's wonderful. A real privilege. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for making the time and being so willing to share your journey, your experiences, and the tools that you use, which make a great difference in your life and the lives of others. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like you to start off with sharing a little bit about Cosmic Heaven and your tools that you use to actually use and develop yourself, but overcome the challenges that you faced along your journey as well. Thank you, Leola.
Thank you, Sister Shirley. I think I'd like to start off with just what I shared in terms of the introduction. For me, basically, my journey started about 17 years ago. And like I said before, is that it started after a few traumatic experiences. And I think like most or lots of people, you know, when you go through something, you're always seeking for answers, always trying to make sense of it. And for me, that is what triggered or started the healing journey, because I knew that there was something greater. I knew that there was something more that I needed to tap into. So my journey started with my sister suggesting to me that I try Reiki, which is basically a healing modality that we work with as well. Being a skeptical person, I tried it once and I thought, no, this is not for me. But somehow there was something that said to me that I felt was that, I need to try and I need to continue with it. And that's when I began the healing journey. And it was sometimes not easy, still is not easy all the time, because you need to go deep within. And when I listened to the meditation earlier on, it resonated with me so at a deep, deep level, because that's exactly what the healing journey has been like for me. I think I have a booklet that I worked with, which is about the power of self-love based on my journey. And that was just to share with people the tools that I worked for me and continue to work for me. I think that the beginning of the process is about acceptance, or that's what it was for me. Because like I said, we're always seeking for answers. We're always trying to make sense of why certain things happen. And the more we ask why, of what I felt was the longer you ask why, the more you feel like you're out of balance, the more you feel like, there's just chaos around you. So it's difficult to heal when you're in that kind of space and that's what you're feeling. So for me, the big step was to begin to accept what happened and then working from there. So acceptance for me has been like the first step. And then it's about understanding that I can only transform and change things from going within. So it's an inside out process. So what I'm going through and I need to work through is within me. And I'm not going to be able to get that on the outside. Yes, there are people who support you along your journey. I think, Sister Shirley, I know that, like you said, we have this very long friendship. And I know there were so many times that I would come to you and speak to you and talk to you about where I'm at, the help that I need. So yeah, that's the kind of support that we need as we go through a healing journey, because it's not an easy journey. It's not something that you can go through without support like Sister Shirley, and she's given me so much of support throughout my journey. And then as you're going through it, is about honoring yourself. I think a lot of the time we judge ourselves. We become impatient with ourselves because we think, I need to be at this point by now. And there's no time frames to it. I don't believe that there are. I mean, I started my journey 17 years ago. I still heal. I still go through it every day. I'm still learning more as I go along. And then just self-love was honoring who you are. It's loving the self. It's taking care of yourself, about understanding that I am the most important person to myself. And like a few years later, after I started my healing, and I realized that I was at a point that I needed something different. It was almost like step over to cross that threshold. And I always believe that when the student is ready, the teacher comes along. So I met someone who was also teaching, which her teachings were about connecting with angels and angel energy and healing with it. And she basically spoke to me about forgiveness. And forgiveness is a big part of it. It's the willingness to forgive others, but more important, the willingness to forgive the self. And it's something I go through at least every 3 months, working on the forgiveness process, because that is a big part of being able to move forward rather than staying stuck. And then the other step, or the other aspect to my healing and the modalities or the tools, is about embracing your divinity. I think a lot of us work with or believe that, we can see the divine in others. We can see just the good in others, but we don't recognize it and see it in ourselves. And that's the embracing of the divinity. Is I'm perfect just as I am, even with all my imperfections, even with things that, I'd like not to go there because it's, so for example, impatience, getting angry quickly. But that's a part of who we are, and we begin to develop tools to be able to recognize it, but also being able to work through it. So that's embracing your divinity. There's so many other tools that come to mind, but I think I'm going to stop there for now, and I can share more.
Yes, thank you for that gift and tool about deep acceptance of the self, love for the self, which is such a important ingredient on the healing journey. And only when we accept ourselves can, we give that energy and others be able to accept us, and then the healing process starts as well. That's a very powerful, thank you. Any other sharing that you want to share with us about healing and accepting and moving on, being able to accept the self, healing, in the process of healing, accepting the self and moving on. Just seeing if any other tools that you would like to share with us.
So there's the big part of it is just about, for me, so I refer to it as the mental body. And that's my thoughts and the power of the mind. And again, that's why I found the meditation so profound. And it was almost like it was speaking to me. And I felt like, okay, this is where I need to be. So prayer and meditation is a big part of the healing process. And also just for me has been one of the most powerful tools, because it gives me the time to just be silent. And silence brings through so much of healing, has brought through so much of awareness for me. So just taking time to be silent, taking time to connect with the divine and the divine within you. And for me, it's the God and the energy of God. So prayer, meditation, and that helps in terms of the mind, and just being able to know that I'm going to, or I am moving in the right direction. I love listening to affirmations. I constantly listen to affirmations. I find it powerful. I find lots of strength in it. And especially when the world we're living in right now, there's so much happening. People are going through so much at this particular point in time. And we all seeking for something to help us feel lighter, to help us feel like, okay, there is hope at the end of, all of this that we're experiencing now. So these tools like meditation, prayer, positive affirmations, and even reading, for me, inspirational books makes a huge difference, because it just brings me to an understanding that, okay, faith is so important. And that's what I need to tap into all of the time. So that's another tool, or tools that I think, or not think, but it's worked for me as well.
I also know over the years, knowing you, that you are, very committed to consistency, and, you have like you're very dedicated to and committed to what you start off with and to finish off. And I know there's great benefit in that. You want to share a little bit about that? Because I see that you don't start off something and then just leave it aside. You're really, really committed and dedicated, to what you start off with, what you do, and you see it through. And I'm sure there's great benefit in that as well. Consistency, accuracy, and discipline is a great qualities of yours, which I have taken over the years as well from you.
Thank you for that. Sometimes I often say to people, the discipline part of it is not the easiest, but we try. I think the programs that I mean, there's a number of different programs that I started and that I work with, and like you shared earlier on, was that there's a lot of it that I've developed is based on my own experience and the journey that I continue to go through. But I've been extremely passionate about trying to reach out to children because I believe that our kids are the next generation, our next leaders that's going to take over, the parents that's going to be. And it's so important to find or to help them to establish a foundation that would contribute to the kind of energy that they bring into the world as they move forward. So the Kids Mindfulness Program has been a big part of what we're doing at Cosmic Haven, or that we're working with. We've just now basically reworked our workbooks because we want to take into account to keep it updated based on everything that, like I said earlier on, there's so much happening in the world. There's so many things that people are dealing with. And for children, I think there's a lot more that they need to process and they need to work with. So it's very simple techniques that we talk about in the mindfulness program. Things about being conscious about your breathing and how that can help you. We talk about the ability to give expression to your feelings and to your emotions, but in a positive way. And so there's a number of different tools that we share with children. The first part of the kids program, though, is about loving the wonder of me. And in there, we basically get children to reflect on where they're at, but also to begin to see the their positive attributes, because like I said, sometimes it's difficult for them because you have children bullying each other. You have now the whole social media that comes through and is in play because people, for children, it's important how others are recognizing them and how others see them. So you need to maintain a particular lifestyle and come across in a particular way. And that comes back to being authentic. And the authenticity is also important. So that program continues, and that's what we want to get out to more to schools. Unfortunately, today that hasn't happened because they see it as a religious thing. But we still would continue with trying to get schools to open up to it. The women's program I'm also passionate about because it's something that talks to my own experiences. I believe that there are lots of women out there who've been going through a number of different challenges, and they need a space where they know it's safe to open up. There's a space for them to talk, to reflect, for them to share with each other. So we started the Safe Haven online platform, and we're hoping that, there's a program we'll be running from May onwards. It's a series of the arts of extreme self-care. And that's where we want to just get women to come into that space, share their experiences, but also get people that can talk about different aspects, like mental health care, for example. That's a big thing as well that we want to look at. And then we have the program that I spoke about, the power of self-love, that we've also launched, and we've taken a number of women through that program. I can't remember how many women, but we've basically worked with it over 3 or 4 years now. So those are the things, or again, tools that we're sharing and that I believe makes a huge difference in terms of where we're at and also where we need to be, and just the kind of foundation that we can help to establish. So that's what
That's so powerful, Leola, all the things that you are sharing with, and that's so needed. You want to share a little bit about the programs that you offer to men as well? That will be helpful to know.
Thank you. Sorry about that. We realized that when we were working or going through the women's program, that there was also a need to help men. I believe that as much as we talk about divine femininity and we talk about the divine mother, there's a balance, and that is about working with men as well and bringing in the masculine energy. But there's the balance that we need to look at and finding that balance. So it's helping men to work through issues around, we talk about toxic masculinity, you know, where men believe that women need to behave in a particular way. They can come across extremely strong and powerful, almost overpowering women. And that's not all men, some men. And what we want, what we strive to teach in programs like that is about just the energy of masculinity, but from a divine aspect. It's about the understanding of men to begin to understand that within each one of us, we have the masculine and feminine energy. And there's a need for the balance between the two because they should be working together. I think one of the, I mean, for me, it's about the Shiv Shakti energy that we bring through. So it's taking men through that kind of awareness. I must also just say, you know, with the work we do, the programs we run, we don't have too many men who join us and that are open to it. But I do believe that things will shift and change because I think there's an energy that comes through where men are now realizing, you know, there's more to just doing and doing and doing. There's also the need for us to take a step back. There's also the need for us to take care of ourselves. And that's essentially what we're trying to offer.
Yes, that's very powerful as well. Yes, sending you blessings, and I know many will take great benefit as well. We have a little time. I thought I would, give the opportunity to our participants, if anyone has any questions, to unmute yourself, or you want to put it on the chat for Leola to share anything further, so that you take some tools and add to your journey of healing and empowering yourself as well. Anyone that would like to ask any questions so far? Or if you like to put it on the chat.
Sister Shirley, I think there's something.
I think someone's still putting it down on a chat. In Nana, Botswana, someone from Botswana, Nana. Sister Leola, you was saying something?
What I wanted to say, Sister Shirley, is if while someone or if anyone wants to ask questions or just share comments on it while they're doing that, is one of the other tools that I also found or I find really useful and that helps me is being creative. And creativity is so important because it also brings through a balance. You know, there's, like I say, there's so many things we need to work with. There's so many responsibilities, so many things that we want to do or that we have to do. And we've got this like every single day, which is quite stressful. creativity brings a balance in, and whether it's just, okay, so I'm not an artist, but even if it's just trying to draw something or coloring in, or tending to your garden, you know, planting stuff, for me, that just brings a balance in. So that's something else that I'd like to share with everyone to use or to think about, is just being creative and giving expression to your creativity.
Okay. Someone was wanting the website as well, to just add it on the chat. And a question, how many we connect with your program, sister?
I'll share the website, and I'll also share my contact details. I'll put it onto the chat.
Okay.
So people are more than welcome to contact me directly or go through to the website. Just a point though, we're revamping the website because there's so change is important, and we are looking at bringing through or redoing our website so it's more user friendly and it's easier to navigate through it. But I will still share all of that information. I'll put it onto the chat.
Wonderful. Really, I'm sure our friends, our participants have taken great benefit from your sharing, and especially when something, you know, really is experimented with and experienced and found great benefit and value. I'm sure people, our participants, will really value greatly. Mine is not a question, just an observation. I get easily sick, but ever since I started doing meditation, I always ask myself, what is the lesson in this? That helps me to turn around the situation and not see myself as a victim. That's very powerful, very powerful. It's important not to get stuck and feel being a victim, but a master of my own inner world of thoughts and feelings. Great. Thank you for sharing.
That's so powerful, and
That
thank you.
is so powerful, yes.
Definitely.
And anything lastly that you would like to leave us with, any special gifts and tools that you would like to leave us with, Leola?
I think I spoke about most of our tools, or the tools that I use, but I
Yes.
like that about, you know, I'm not a victim, and I'm the master of my own, for me, like destiny and where I'm going to and what I'm heading or how I'm heading forward. I think that is a part of the foundation for myself, just based on my own experience. So I always say that I am a survivor and I'm not a victim. I think people just refer to, you know, when you go through particular experiences, they would refer to you as a victim. And I consciously want to change that kind of thinking and those words that people use, because our words are so effective. So I think for me, the one thing that I'd like to again say to people is that we have so much of strength within us. We have the tools within us. We simply just need to tap within and it comes through. Yes, we do need guidance. And like I said, you guided me along my journey and still continue to guide me. And I know I come to you and for guidance and just if I need to talk. But a lot of it is when we tap within and we go within. And that is so important for us to do.
Thank you for yes, sharing and highlighting that. Yes, we have a lot within ourselves. We just need to tap into that and use those treasures and gifts that has been gifted to us by the Almighty. And sometimes it's so easy to forget. Like last Friday, Sister Denise Lawrence shared when someone asked the question, how do you protect yourself from taking sorrow from the external? And all she said is, be with yourself, be connected with yourself, and be grounded, and don't give your power away to others. And for me, that was also a very powerful tool as well, to be the more that I'm connected with my true self, my real self, that really brings me into a space and stage of being a master rather than a victim. So once again, I think there's another, I'll just check. Thank you for your humility, Debbie, and that it is okay to ask for help. Yes, really, really.
It is.
And
Definitely.
I know Leola shares a journey in terms of asking for help and things, deep humility. Only with the quality of humility are we going to learn and keep growing. Once again, Leola, thank you for your time. And I'm sure many will connect with you and also take great benefit as well. So in terms of the Brahma Kumaris, many, many blessings for cosmic heaven, and may it constantly progress, and you take care.
Thank you so much, Sister Shirley. And as always, I just love being in this energy and in the space. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Have a great day, a great weekend, and Om
Om Shanti.